Captain Taz Riggins was having a perfectly ordinary Thursday aboard the HMS Improbable when the universe decided to make his life significantly more complicated. Captain called Lieutenant Jax Holloway from the sensor station. "There's something weird on the long-range scanners." Riggins sighed. In his experience, weird was Holloway's default setting for describing anything from a malfunctioning coffee machine to an imminent supernova. The man had two modes, bored and confused. "Define weird, Lieutenant. Use your big boy vocabulary." Holloway squinted at his screen. "It's shiny, and sort of pulsating, and definitely not one of ours." "That narrows it down to approximately everything in the universe that isn't a Federation ship," Riggins muttered, hauling himself out of his command chair. "Put it on screen." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing what appeared to be a giant metallic jellyfish drifting through space. Crystalline structures extended from its bulbous center, glowing with an eerie blue-green light. "Well," Riggins said after a long moment of silence, "that's definitely weird." Commander Olga Petrov, his first officer and the only person aboard with more than 2 functioning brain cells according to Riggins, stepped forward. "Sir, I believe we're looking at a non-human vessel." "No shit, Petrov. What was your first clue?" "The fact that it looks like someone crossbred a disco ball with an octopus." "Actually, sir," Petrov replied without missing a beat, "it was the fact that it's broadcasting on frequencies we've never recorded before. Also, it's approaching us." Riggins felt a headache forming behind his eyes. First contact scenarios were above his pay grade. Way above. He was a warship captain, not a diplomat. His job was to point the big guns at the bad guys and press the shiny red button, not to exchange pleasantries with space jellyfish. "All right, people, remember your training. Protocol 7B for unidentified vessels. Shields up, weapons on standby, and somebody get me a coffee." The bridge crew snapped into action with the well-oiled precision of professionals who had drilled for this scenario dozens of times, but never actually expected it to happen. "Sir," called Communications Officer Dina Wong, "they're scanning us." "Scanning," Riggins frowned. "What kind of scan?" "All kinds, sir. Electromagnetic, subspace, gravitational. They're basically hitting us with every type of scan in the book, plus a few chapters that haven't been written yet." That didn't sound friendly. In Riggins' experience, when someone scanned your warship that thoroughly, they were usually trying to figure out where to shoot it. Warning shot across their bow, Weapons Officer Fletcher. Fletcher, a compact man with twitchy fingers and an unhealthy obsession with explosions, grinned. "With pleasure, sir," I said. Warning shot Fletcher. "That means don't hit them." "Understood, sir." Firing warning shot at not them. A streak of energy lanced from the Improbable's forward batteries, passing within 100 meters of the alien vessel. Close enough to get their attention, not close enough to be considered an act of war, hopefully. The alien ship immediately lit up like a Christmas tree on steroids, pulsating with blinding intensity. Sir." Wong's voice had gone up several octaves. "They're broadcasting something on all frequencies. It sounds like singing." "Singing?" Riggins blinked. "Put it on speakers." The bridge filled with a sound that could charitably be described as music, if one were extremely drunk and had suffered significant hearing damage. It resembled a choir of cats being slowly fed into a woodchipper with bass drops. "Make it stop." Fletcher clapped his hands over his ears. "For the love of all that's holy, make it stop." "It could be a greeting," Petrov suggested, wincing as a particularly high note threatened to shatter the bridge windows. "Or a declaration of war," Riggins countered. "Wong, send them a standard greeting package." Fletcher, "Keep weapons hot." Holloway, "Monitor their movements. And somebody please find the mute button before my ears start bleeding." The alien ship suddenly ceased its audio assault and began to move, its crystalline appendages shifting position. "They're changing configuration," Holloway reported. "And, sir, they're scanning us again, but it's different this time. More focused. Almost like they're targeting." Riggins didn't like the sound of that. "Target lock?" "I don't think so, sir. It's more like they're downloading." Before Riggins could ask what exactly they might be downloading, the Improbable's automated defense systems kicked in. Apparently, the alien scan had triggered something deep in the ship's cybersecurity protocols, and the Improbable did not appreciate having its digital underwear drawer rifled through. Warning klaxons blared, as the ship's AI announced in its calm, vaguely judgmental voice. "Intrusion detected. Initiating countermeasures." "Wait. No," Riggins began, but it was too late. The improbable fired a concentrated electromagnetic pulse at the alien vessel, followed by a barrage of data packets that contained the digital equivalent of a middle finger and approximately 7,000 copies of the ship's terms and conditions. The alien ship spasmed like it had been tased, its crystalline appendages flailing wildly. "Sir," Wong shouted over the alarms. "They're broadcasting again. It sounds like screaming." "Fantastic," Riggins groaned. "First contact with an alien species, and we've given them the digital equivalent of food poisoning. Petrov, please tell me we haven't just started an interstellar war." Petrov's expression was not encouraging. "The good news, sir, is that they appear to be a scientific vessel, not a warship, and the bad news, they've just called for backup." As if on cue, the alien ship released what appeared to be a dozen smaller vessels, which began zipping around the improbable like angry hornets. "Tractor beam those little bastards," Riggins ordered. "If we're going to have first contact, let's at least do it face to tentacle, or whatever they have." The improbable's tractor beams lashed out, capturing 3 of the smaller vessels before the others scattered. "Got 'em, sir," Fletcher reported with entirely too much enthusiasm. "Shall I bring them in for boarding?" Riggins pinched the bridge of his nose. "Yes, Fletcher, bring them in. Petrov, assemble a first contact team, and for God's sake, tell them no probing jokes this time." "Yes, sir," Petrov nodded. "And the alien mothership?" Riggins looked at the main view screen, where the jellyfish-like craft now pulsated with what he could only interpret as intense anxiety. "Open a channel, Wong. Let's try to explain that this is all just a big misunderstanding before their friends arrive and things get really weird." Wong's fingers danced across her console. "Channel open, sir." Riggins straightened his uniform and put on his most diplomatic face, which wasn't saying much. "Attention, alien vessel. This is Captain Taz Riggins of the HMS Improbable. We, apologize for the confusion. Your scan triggered our automated defenses. We come in peace and all that jazz. Please respond." The response came in the form of more singing, but at a much lower volume, and with what sounded like questioning notes at the end. "I think they're asking if we're going to destroy them," Wong suggested. "Tell them no, we're not going to destroy them, we just want to talk." Wong transmitted the message, then listened to the reply. "Sir, I think they want to know why we captured their scientists? Explorers? The translation's a bit fuzzy. Tell them it's just a temporary measure to establish communication," Riggins said. "And ask them to please not send in the cavalry until we've had a chance to sort this out." As Wong relayed the message, Petrov's communicator chirped. "Sir, the boarding team reports they've secured the alien craft in Bay 3. They've got 3 aliens in custody." "In custody?" Riggins groaned. "They're not prisoners, Petrov. They're guests. Very surprised, possibly terrified guests." "Yes, sir. I'll clarify that immediately." Riggins slumped back in his command chair. Somehow, in the span of 15 minutes, he'd gone from routine patrol to accidental alien abduction. Starfleet Academy had definitely not covered this scenario in the manual. "Sir?" Holloway's voice had taken on the particular tone that Riggins had come to associate with impending disaster. "We're picking up multiple new contacts. Big ones. And they're coming in fast." On the view screen, a swarm of ship signatures appeared, all heading directly for the improbable. "Wonderful." Riggins sighed. "Looks like we're about to meet the parents. And they do not look happy." Cargo Bay 3 had been hastily converted into what the crew optimistically called a first contact reception area, but what was essentially just the regular cargo bay with a folding table and some chairs dragged in from the mess hall. Captain Riggins strode in to find 3 aliens huddled together in the center of the bay. They resembled upright octopi with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Each had 4 arms, 2 legs, and a cluster of what appeared to be sensory organs on top of their oblong heads. "Welcome aboard the Improbable," Riggins announced, trying to sound friendly rather than like someone who had just accidentally kidnapped them. The tallest one stepped forward, its skin cycling through shades of blue and green. "I am Cremulax," it said, the words emerging from a small translation device on what Riggins assumed was its neck. "Lead researcher of the Glarbian science vessel Empirical Curiosity. Are you planning to dissect us?" "What? No." Riggins recoiled. "Why would you think that? Your entertainment broadcasts." Cremulax's skin darkened to a deep purple. "They suggest humans typically probe and dissect captured extraterrestrials." Lieutenant Holloway snorted. "They've been watching our TV shows. Those are fictional." Riggins explained. We don't actually do that. Then why did you capture our research pods? Asked one of the smaller aliens, its skin flashing yellow with anxiety. Honestly? Reflex. You scanned us, our ship got defensive, and things escalated. Classic misunderstanding. Cremulax's skin shifted to a contemplative teal. Your vessel has autonomous defense protocols. Fascinating. We merely wish to study your propulsion technology. Yeah, that's the problem. Engineer Mila Vostok spoke up from behind Riggins. Our engines are classified military tech. Your scan triggered our security systems. The third alien, who had remained silent until now, suddenly extended several appendages in alarm. Military? You are a warship? Well, yeah. Riggins shrugged. HMS Improbable Federation Defense Force. Didn't the giant guns on the outside give it away? The aliens huddled together, their skin cycling through alarmed reds and oranges as they conferred in rapid whistles. Problem? Riggins asked. Cremulax turned back, his translator struggling to keep up with his distressed whistling. We believed you were a research vessel. The Glarbians are a peaceful species. We have not encountered a military spacecraft in 7 generations. And now you've not only encountered one, you're stuck inside it. Holloway helpfully pointed out. Look, Riggins said, attempting diplomacy. We're not going to harm you. This is all just a big misunderstanding. We'll contact your ship and... He was interrupted by Commander Petrov's voice over the intercom. Captain, to the bridge. Immediately. The alien reinforcements have arrived. Perfect timing, Riggins muttered. Holloway. Stay here with our guests. Try not to cause an interstellar incident for 5 minutes. No promises, Captain. Holloway grinned, pulling up a chair opposite the increasingly agitated aliens. As Riggins rushed back to the bridge, he could hear Holloway asking, So do you guys have any cool space diseases we should know about? Some days, Riggins reflected, the universe seemed determined to test just how much absurdity one starship captain could handle before cracking. Today was definitely one of those days. The situation on the bridge had deteriorated from diplomatic incident to potential interstellar war in record time. Riggins barely had time to process the sight of 7 massive Glarbian vessels surrounding the Improbable before Commander Petrov pulled him aside. Sir? They're demanding the return of their scientists. Their exact words were, surrender our peaceful explorers or face extinction. Charming, Riggins muttered. Tell them we're conducting standard first contact protocols and their scientists are perfectly safe. I did. They said our primitive deception tactics won't work and launched what appears to be, well, sir, it looks like a formal complaint. A complaint? Yes, sir. A 700-page document detailing our violations of Glarbian hospitality laws, scientific vessel interaction protocols, and something called the Cosmic Code of Polite Society. Riggins pinched the bridge of his nose. They're bureaucrats. Wonderful. Hold them off with paperwork of our own. I need to check on our guests. When Riggins returned to Cargo Bay 3, he found a scene that would haunt his nightmares for years to come. Holloway had set up what appeared to be an interrogation room straight out of a bad noir film. A single light hung over the folding table, and Holloway was circling the aliens while slapping a datapad against his palm rhythmically. Where were you on the night of Stardate 45673.2? Holloway demanded, leaning into Cremulax's face. Lieutenant, what the hell are you doing? Riggins hissed. Holloway straightened up. Interrogation, sir. Just like in Space Cops Venusian Vice. This isn't a holovid, Lieutenant. These are diplomatic representatives of an alien species. Actually, Cremulax interjected, we find this cultural exchange fascinating. Your subordinate has been demonstrating human interrogation techniques from your entertainment media. We've been taking notes. The smallest alien held up what appeared to be a digital tablet covered in alien script. I particularly enjoyed the good cop, bad cop simulation, it chirped, though I remain confused about why the bad cop threatened to turn me into calamari. Riggins shot Holloway a withering look. What? Holloway shrugged. They asked about human customs. I'm being educational. Lieutenant, may I remind you that there are 7 alien warships currently surrounding us, demanding the return of these scientists. 7? Cremulax's skin pulsed with alarm. The Glarbian Science Council sent 7 warships. Apparently your people take scientific exploration very seriously, Riggins said. No, you don't understand. Kremulax's translator struggled to keep up with his rapid whistling. The Glarbian Collective hasn't assembled a military fleet of that size in 300 years. They must believe we've made a discovery of unprecedented importance. The only discovery you've made is that humans have terrible first contact protocols. Riggins sighed. Actually, sir, Engineer Vostok called from across the bay where she'd been examining one of the alien pods. I think I know what triggered all this. Vostok approached with a handheld scanner. Their scanner technology is incredible. When they scanned us, they didn't just get surface readings. They downloaded our entire computer database. They what? Riggins felt his blood pressure spike. Not intentionally. Kremulax quickly added skin shifting to defensive orange. Our sensors automatically collect all available data. It's how we learn. And what exactly did you learn from our database? Riggins demanded. The 3 aliens exchanged looks. Finally Kremulax spoke. Everything. Your history, technology, cultural archives, military capabilities, and your fiction. Our fiction? Yes. We were particularly interested in your action movies. Very illuminating. Is it true that human military vessels self-destruct when captured? Riggins fought the urge to bang his head against the wall. That's not. We don't. Those are just movies. So humans cannot survive explosions by diving away in slow motion. No. And one human cannot defeat 20 adversaries using only martial arts. Well, Commander Petrov probably could. But that's not the point. The smallest alien raised a tentacle. What about the documentary series Space Truckers hauling us across the galaxy? Is that also fictional? Holloway snorted. I love that show. Focus, people. Riggins snapped. The issue is that you downloaded classified military information, which their fleet probably believes was your mission all along. Kremulax's skin paled. Oh dear, that would explain the battle fleet. They think we've obtained valuable military intelligence, which you have. Technically, yes, Kremulax admitted, but it was an accident. We're scientists, not spies. Riggins paced the cargo bay, mind racing. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'll explain to your fleet that this was all a cultural misunderstanding. You'll confirm that you're safe and that we're releasing you immediately. And then you'll let us go? Kremulax asked hopefully. Of course, after you delete all the classified data you downloaded. The aliens conferred among themselves, their skin cycling through troubled patterns. There is a problem, Kremulax finally said. We cannot delete the information. Our brains don't work that way. Your brains, Riggins blinked. Yes, the data is stored organically in our neural pathways. The download was biological. Holloway whistled. So they've got our entire database in their heads. That's either terrifying or awesome. Mostly terrifying, Riggins corrected. So what you're saying is you now know every military secret of the Federation, and there's no way to unknow it. Precisely, Kremulax confirmed. Though if it helps, we find most of your military technology rather primitive. That doesn't help at all, Riggins groaned. Your people are going to think we've taken you hostage to prevent you from sharing our secrets, and you're telling me our secrets aren't even impressive. Correct on both counts. Kremulax's skin rippled with what might have been sympathy. Though I must say, your Netflix cultural database is quite remarkable. We particularly enjoyed something called Tiger King. Before Riggins could process this disturbing revelation, the ship's AI announced, incoming transmission from Glarbian command vessel. Riggins sighed deeply. Patch it through to here. The cargo bay's view screen flickered to life, revealing a larger, more ornately colored Glarbian. Its skin pulsated with authoritative crimson and gold patterns. Human vessel, it began without preamble. I am Supreme Commander Zalthox of the Glarbian Collective. Return our scientific team immediately, or we will be forced to take aggressive action. Supreme Commander Riggins began, forcing a diplomatic smile. There's been a misunderstanding, Zalthox, Kremulax interrupted, pushing into view. The humans have not harmed us. In fact, they've been conducting cultural exchange protocols. Zalthox's skin darkened. Kremulax, have they compromised your neural pathways? Are you under duress? No, Well, I am filled with a strange new emotion they call existential dread, but that's apparently normal for humans. They've been teaching us about their customs through something called method acting. Riggins shot a look at Holloway, who shrugged innocently. Zalfox seemed unconvinced. Our scans indicate you've absorbed significant data from their systems. Yes, Kremlax admitted, but it was accidental. And most of it is just episodes of something called The Real Housewives of Mars Colony. Zalfox's skin pulsed with confusion. Are these Real Housewives part of the human military command structure? No, Riggins interjected quickly. They're entertainment. Do you have entertainment? We have mathematical appreciation hours and synchronized color pulsation rituals. Zalfox replied stiffly. Right. Well, our entertainment is a bit different. Look, Supreme Commander, this has all been a misunderstanding. We're prepared to release your scientists immediately, with our apologies. Zalfox's skin shifted to a skeptical purple. And what of the military information they've absorbed? Well, Riggins said carefully, since we can't delete it, maybe we could exchange information. A cultural swap? There was a long, tense silence. Finally, Zalfox spoke. This is acceptable. We will exchange our database of mathematical theorems and astronomical observations for the complete human entertainment archive known as Netflix. Holloway leaned over to Riggins. Sir, are we really trading military secrets for alien math homework? It's that or start an interstellar war, Riggins whispered back. Besides, Kremlax said our tech is primitive by their standards. Done, Riggins announced to Zalfox. We'll begin transfer immediately, and return your scientists. Excellent. Zalfox's skin brightened. We are particularly interested in this Tiger King Kremlax mentioned. As the transmission ended, Riggins slumped against the cargo bay wall. Well, that could have gone worse. Sir, Holloway said, checking his datapad, the Glarbians have just sent over their database. It's enormous. The science team says, it contains the mathematical solution to faster-than-light travel without warp technology, the cure for 17 different human diseases, and what appears to be the complete unified field theory. Riggins blinked. All that for a Netflix subscription. Apparently, sir. They really want to know who the Tiger King is. Let's hope they don't decide to binge-watch Independence Day next. Riggins muttered. Prepare to transfer our scientists. I mean their scientists back to their vessel. As the aliens prepared to leave, Kremlax approached Riggins one last time. Captain, despite the confusion, this has been an enlightening first contact. We have learned much about humans. Like what? Riggins asked warily. That you are simultaneously the most terrifying and most ridiculous species we have ever encountered. Your entertainment suggests you would gladly destroy yourselves and others, yet you spend inordinate resources creating stories about small felines in amusing situations. That's actually pretty accurate. Riggins admitted. We look forward to further cultural exchanges. Kremlax's skin shifted to a friendly blue. Though perhaps next time, with less accidental abduction. Agreed, Riggins said, extending his hand in what he hoped was a universal gesture of friendship. Kremlax stared at the offered appendage, then tentatively wrapped a tentacle around it. Is this the ritual humans call a handshake? Close enough, Riggins smiled. Safe travels, Kremlax. As the aliens departed and the Glarbian fleet prepared to leave, Commander Petrov approached Riggins on the bridge. Sir, should I file this as a successful first contact mission? Riggins watched the alien vessels shimmer into hyperspace. File it under disaster narrowly averted through dumb luck and Netflix, Commander. And let's hope our next alien encounter is less educational. Yes, sir, Petrov nodded. Though the science division is quite excited about the mathematical proofs we received. Apparently, we've just advanced human technology by approximately 2 centuries. All because they wanted to watch Tiger King. Riggins shook his head in disbelief. The universe has a strange sense of humor, Commander. Indeed, sir. Oh, and Lieutenant Holloway wanted me to inform you that he's submitted a request to create a new training program based on this experience. He's calling it, How to Interrogate Aliens and Influence Spacefaring Civilizations. Riggins closed his eyes and counted to 10. Tell Holloway his request is denied. And that if he ever pulls that film noir interrogation stunt again, I'll personally launch him out the airlock. Yes, sir. Shall I set course for Federation space? Please do, Commander. I think we've had enough adventure for one day. As the improbable jumped to warp speed, Riggins couldn't help but wonder what the Glarbians would make of human culture once they finished their Netflix binge. One thing was certain: the universe had just gotten a whole lot stranger, and probably a little bit funnier. And somewhere in deep space, a group of octopus-like aliens were about to discover the bizarre human ritual known as Netflix and chill. The alien mothership loomed on the view screen, its crystalline protrusions now glowing an alarming shade of red. Translation coming through, Captain, Wong announced. It's colorful. Let's hear it. Riggins braced himself. A deep gurgling voice filled the bridge. Human warmongers, your deception is transparent. Release our knowledge gatherers or taste the wrath of the Glarbian Ultimate Defense Squadron. They named their warships the Ultimate Defense Squadron. Fletcher snickered. Focus, people. Riggins snapped. Wong, open a channel. Channel open, sir. This is Captain Riggins. There's been a misunderstanding. Your scientists are safe and silence. Meat creature. Our scans indicate your primitive vessel has activated neural scramblers on our researchers. We have studied your action movies and know this precedes brain extraction. Petrov leaned in. Sir, I think they downloaded our entertainment database too. Perfect, Riggins muttered. They think we're following the alien autopsy playbook. The alien commander continued. Prepare to witness our species' appropriate response to aggression. The mothership's crystals realigned, forming what appeared to be an enormous focusing array. They're charging weapons, Fletcher reported unnecessarily. Evasive maneuvers, Riggins ordered. And get me Kremlax on the line. Maybe he can talk sense into them. Kremlax appeared on a secondary screen, his skin cycling through anxious patterns. Captain, my commander believes you're performing experiments on us. He's preparing the Harmony Disruptor. The what? A weapon designed to disrupt aggressive thought patterns and induce pacifism. Holloway snorted. They're going to make us peaceful, that's their ultimate weapon. This is based on our cultural database, Kremlax explained. Your John Wick suggests humans respond strongly to specific emotional triggers. They designed a weapon based on Keanu Reeves' movies. Riggins couldn't believe it. Incoming, Fletcher shouted as the alien ship fired. The improbable shuddered as waves of pinkish energy washed over it. Damage report, Riggins demanded. No structural damage, Petrov reported, checking systems. But crew and affected sections report feeling happy. Happy? Yes, sir. Engineering reports they're having an impromptu dance party. Riggins pinched his nose. They're trying to stop us by making us too happy to fight. This is ridiculous. Sir, Wong interrupted. The alien commander is demanding our surrender, saying resistance is, and I quote, totally bogus. Dude, did they learn English from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Holloway wondered aloud. Riggins had officially reached his limit. That's it. Fletcher, target their propulsion systems. Minimal damage. Sir, Fletcher looked surprised. We need to show them we're serious without starting a war. Fire. The Improbable's precision shot struck the Glarbian mothership's lower crystal array, causing it to spin slightly off axis. The alien vessel's lights flickered momentarily. Direct hit, Fletcher reported with satisfaction. Minimal damage to their propulsion as ordered. The alien response was immediate and unexpected. The mothership released dozens of smaller vessels, each pulsating with different colored lights. They're deploying their weight. What are those? Holloway squinted at his scanner. Mood modulators. Wong translated from the incoming transmission. They're going to chill us out until we can't even. The small vessels surrounded the Improbable, bombarding it with waves of energy in various colors. The ship's internal systems began reporting strange effects. Sir, Petrov consulted her display. Deck 7 is reporting uncontrollable laughter. Deck 12 is having a spontaneous group hug. And engineering? What about engineering? Riggins demanded. They're writing poetry, sir. Extremely bad poetry. Engineer Vostok's voice came over the comm. Captain, the aliens are using emotional manipulation technology. They're targeting our limbic systems. Can you counter it? Already on it. Our ship's entertainment system can broadcast on the same frequency. I'm reversing their emotional patterns. Do it, Riggins ordered. Vostok activated her countermeasure, sending the ship's entire library of heavy metal music blasting back at the alien vessels. The small craft spun erratically as their pilots were hit with unexpected rage and aggression. "It's working," Fletcher crowed. "Their emotion weapons are designed for a species that processes feelings differently. Human anger is overloading their systems." On the main view screen, the alien commander appeared, his skin cycling through confused patterns. "Why aren't you becoming docile? Our peace rays are at maximum strength." "Because humans don't work that way," Riggins replied. "Now call off your attack before someone gets hurt." "Never." Deploying final measure, the universal soother. The mothership's crystals realigned into a new configuration, glowing with intense blue light. "Incoming," Holloway shouted as a massive wave of energy engulfed the improbable. For a moment the bridge fell silent. Then, slowly everyone turned to look at each other with expressions of profound calm. "I feel serene," Fletcher whispered, lowering his weapon's console. "Like why even fight, man? It's affecting everyone," Petrov noted dreamily. "I haven't felt this relaxed since my meditation retreat on Ganymede." Only Riggins seemed resistant, gripping his chair arms until his knuckles turned white. "Stay focused. This is mind control." Vostok's voice came through again, sounding distant and unconcerned. "Captain, I've identified the frequency. It's similar to human delta brain waves during deep sleep. I could counteract it with... But why bother? Everything's so nice." "Vostok," Riggins barked. "Stay with me." "Counter it with what?" "Oh, with caffeine. Massive doses piped through the ventilation system should counteract the effect." "Do it." Minutes later, the bridge crew snapped back to alertness as the smell of concentrated coffee filled the air. Eyes wide, hands trembling, they returned to their stations. "What was that?" Holloway asked, twitching slightly. "The equivalent of a galactic tranquilizer," Petrov explained. "Checking systems. And now we're all on the galaxy's biggest caffeine high." The alien commander reappeared on screen, skin pulsing with confusion. "Impossible. No species has ever resisted the universal soother." "Yeah. Well, you've never met humans before," Riggins replied, jittery from the caffeine overdose. "We self-administer mind-altering substances for fun. Your weapon is basically our Tuesday night." Fletcher, now hyper-alert, shouted. "They're charging another weapon. Target their main crystal array," Riggins ordered. "Disrupt their focusing mechanism." The improbable fired again, this time hitting the center of the alien vessel's crystal formation. The crystals didn't shatter but instead began pulsating in a chaotic, unsynchronized pattern. On the view screen, the alien commander and his crew appeared disoriented, their skin cycling through random colors. "What have you done?" the commander demanded, his translator glitching. "Our emotional synchronization matrix is malfunctioning. We're experiencing... Is this what you call mood swings?" "Congratulations," Riggins smirked. "You've just discovered PMS." The situation had devolved into what military strategists might generously call a complete mess. The improbable was surrounded by Glarbian vessels experiencing artificial emotional crises, while the human crew was jittery from Vostok's caffeine countermeasure. "Sir," Wong called out, her hands shaking as she tried to operate her console. "Incoming transmission," but not from the Glarbians. A new image appeared on the view screen. A sleek obsidian vessel shaped like a massive arrowhead. "Unidentified vessels," a metallic voice announced. "This is Hive Commander X-Rax of the Cerulean Collective. Your combat activities have attracted our attention. Prepare to be harvested." Riggins and the alien commander stared at each other through their respective view screens. "Did they say harvested?" the Glarbian commander. "I believe they did," Riggins confirmed. "Friend of yours." "The Ceruleans are nobody's friends." The alien's skin turned ashen with fear. "They're resource extractors, organic resource extractors. They eat people. Worse, they process sentient beings into biological computing nodes. Our scientists have documented their atrocities across 3 sectors." The Cerulean ship began deploying what looked like metallic tentacles toward both vessels. "Captain," Petrov reported, "they're attempting to breach our hull in multiple locations." Riggins made a split-second decision. Open a channel to the Glarbian commander. The alien appeared, his skin cycling between fear and confusion. "Look," Riggins said. I think we can both agree that being turned into living computers is worse than our little misunderstanding. Yes. The commander's skin settled on a determined blue. Truce, but what can we do? The Cerulean's technology is beyond either of our capabilities. Maybe separately, Riggins agreed. But together, Fletcher, what happens if the Glarbians hit the Ceruleans with their emotional weapons while we target their ship's systems? Fletcher's caffeine-enhanced brain processed the scenario at lightning speed. Unknown, sir, but potentially catastrophic for them. Exactly. Commander, can your peace rays be modified to transmit extreme emotional states? Fear, perhaps. The alien's skin brightened. Yes, we can recalibrate our harmony disruptor to project terror. Do it. On my mark, you hit them with fear. We'll hit them with firepower. As the Cerulean ship extended more metallic tentacles, both vessels prepared their attack. Now, Riggins ordered. The Glarbian mothership fired its modified emotional weapon, while the Improbable launched a barrage of torpedoes. The combination was spectacular. The Cerulean ship's tentacles retracted violently as the fear ray struck it, leaving it vulnerable to the Improbable's attack. Direct hits, Fletcher reported. Their shields are fluctuating. The Cerulean vessel began to retreat, its tentacles flailing erratically. They're withdrawing, sir, Holloway confirmed. Running scared. Literally. On the view screen, the Glarbian commander's skin pulsed with victorious gold patterns. It worked. Our emotions and your aggression. The perfect combination. Who would have thought? Riggins smiled. Turns out we complement each other. After the Cerulean threat retreated, the human and Glarbian vessels maintained position. No longer enemies but not quite friends. So, Riggins addressed the alien commander. I believe we were in the middle of a first contact situation before all this unpleasantness. Indeed, the commander's skin shifted to diplomatic teal. Perhaps we should start over. I am Supreme Commander Xylthox of the Glarbian Collective. Captain Taz. Riggins. HMS Improbable. I believe we have some scientists to return to you, and we have some apologies to make. Xylthox admitted. We may have overreacted based on our limited understanding of human culture. About that, Riggins said, maybe don't base your understanding of humans entirely on action movies.
A wise suggestion. Perhaps we could exchange cultural ambassadors. Our scientists are quite eager to learn more about humans properly this time. Kremlax appeared beside Xylthox, his skin cycling through excited patterns. Captain Riggins, your emotional resilience is fascinating. No species we've encountered can resist emotional manipulation through sheer stubbornness. It's called being human. Riggins shrugged. We're contrary by nature, which makes you unpredictable allies. Xylthox noted. The Ceruleans will think twice before approaching either of our species now. About that, Riggins said. If the Ceruleans are a common threat, perhaps we should discuss a more formal alliance. I'm sure my superiors would be interested. As would ours, Xylthox agreed. Though perhaps with more thorough cultural briefings this time. Agreed, we'll provide actual educational materials, not just Netflix. But Kremlax interjected hopefully. We can still have Netflix, yes? Riggins laughed. Sure, but maybe start with documentaries before jumping to Die Hard. As arrangements were made for the return of the Glarbian scientists in preliminary alliance discussions, Petrov approached Riggins on the bridge. Sir, how shall I classify this in my report? First contact, hostage situation, or diplomatic breakthrough? Riggins watched as the Glarbian ships adjusted their crystal arrays into what appeared to be a ceremonial formation, their equivalent of a salute. File it under successful cultural exchange with unexpected benefits, Commander. And add a footnote, when dealing with humans, always check the caffeine levels. The Improbable and the Glarbian fleet set course for neutral space to formalize their new alliance, united by the universal language of facing a common enemy, and possibly a shared appreciation for bad action movies. As they departed, Holloway couldn't resist one final observation. You know, sir, they're going to be really confused when they get to the alien movies in their Netflix queue. Let's hope they have a sense of humor. Riggins replied, because if there's one thing this mission has taught us, it's that in space everyone can hear you laugh.